Hello, hello, beautiful souls. I hope you all are well. In today's video, I want to speak on kind of where I've been the last year or so. And really what I'm going to be talking about is the existential dread that I woke up with. And I couldn't put a finger on it, so I'll get right into it here. So a year ago, we had sold our restaurants, and so we had an influx of money, and I wasn't working. I didn't have to work. And so, the whole time that I was working, I always thought that, if I had enough money and I could just sit at home and be peaceful, that work was the problem, But what I found was that, I didn't feel any different on the inside. I didn't feel like we had the amount of money that we had. It still felt very lack. And while I'm totally grateful for all of the wonderful things that I have in my life, I have a beautiful family. I have a lovely house. It's right next to the woods. I really enjoy that. I have a car, means to get around. I have a phone, a way to connect. It's you feel bad for feeling bad, even though you have all the things that you're supposed to have that make you feel good, right? So really that was kind of me really learning and really feeling that the external things that everyone, including myself, think will make you happy, they just aren't, So a year ago, I joined a 21-day challenge for your best self or something like that. And during that, he challenged us to kind of step out of your comfort zone and learn something new, which was definitely out of my comfort zone. I do not I do not like not knowing how to do something. I enjoy being the best, actually. So what I chose to do was yoga. And so I went in not knowing anything about yoga, and I signed up for a chair yoga class because, I figured that would be a little easier way in. So I went to this local place here that's sadly about to close, but that's okay. She's going to go on and do much better things. Heart and Mind Healing, a beautiful place here in Gainesville, Florida. I went there and I was doing chair yoga, and it was really, really good. It was interesting noticing myself being self-conscious and worrying about not doing the right thing, but she was so gentle in the way that she would correct. And I really do actually like constructive criticism, actually, I've learned. But anyway, going to this place actually opened the doors for so many more connections. One of the first memories I have from there, I was looking at all of her books and stuff, and she had a book on Reiki. So I was looking at it because I'm very interested in Reiki at the time. I have no idea what it is. No idea. I just felt drawn to it. And it turns out I've pretty much been doing Reiki in my own way for a very long time. So she asked me, about Reiki and what I knew about it and stuff. And then said that she was going to be offering classes to teach Reiki. And I was like, cool, So then I signed up for something called a Reiki Share, thinking it was the class, but it wasn't. It was you were supposed to already be certified So that was a very interesting experience too. I showed up, I went to the Reiki share not knowing anything about Reiki, and it was so beautiful. They were all so welcoming. And at this time, it was about a year ago, like, I was waking up every morning not wanting to die, but not wanting to be here. Like, what's the point, you know? Every single morning. That's how I started my morning, was this, you know, we've got to do all of these things, which really, I mean, did we? I don't know. It's like, do you really have to do anything, or do you get to do it? That's a flip that you can make. But yeah, I was waking up, and it was just like every day I would wake up and I would be in this place of like, I don't want to be here. I hate mornings. Why do I have to wake up? Right? And that's really like not the greatest way to start your day. So then I would go through my day and pick myself up. I would watch YouTube videos. I was in this thing called School with Erin Dottie. You know, really working on myself, reading books, really trying to, like, you know, do some work on myself, figure out where the thoughts are coming from and all of that good stuff, right? But whenever I did that first Reiki share, so the Reiki share isn't about learning Reiki, it's about practicing Reiki. So basically, everybody gets a turn on the table and everybody does Reiki on that person. So you get to practice doing Reiki, and you also get to receive Reiki from, like, I think that first day there was like 8 of us in there or something. It was really cool. So after that, I didn't wake up anymore not wanting to be here. Like, I knew I was supposed to be here. I can't tell you what happened. Maybe it was like just being supported. I can tell you whenever I have it done, I feel a lot of love energy in my heart space. And knowing how to connect to that feeling, I feel like is part of what has helped me heal. But anyway, so that was about a year ago. I did that, and I was waking up not wanting to not be here. And that was a slight shift, and it made my days go a little smoother and better. However, I was still waking up with this, like, dread of, like, even if I had nothing to do, it's like I didn't want to have nothing to do. But if I have something to do, it was like too much, you know? So just this dread, like, same day or same shit, different day, you know, sort of feeling. And when you wake up with this sort of feeling, it's like your first interaction with the day. Granted, I could pull myself out and then it was okay. You know, a little coffee would be helpful. But it's just this dread. And I was always like, you know, I'd get myself to a place at night where, like, happy to be here. I'm, like, ready to, you know, go out into the world and share my knowledge and whatever. And then the next morning I would wake up and there'd be this dread that I'd have to work through. That takes energy. And then, you know, it's just like something wasn't quite right. So, another connection I made through Heart and Mind is this beautiful coach and acupuncturist named Kate. And she did this thing in January called Energy Mastery. So I'd also been working too on, like, you know, whenever I'd get emotions, allowing the emotion to be there instead of being like, no, we don't want this, make it go away, make it stop. Like, allowing it to be there, feeling into it, letting it be there, validating it, figuring out what is it that it's trying to tell me, right? Like, But the step that I was missing, that Kate really illuminated for me, was that these emotions are coming up because there's an unmet need. So that was the last piece of the puzzle, at least for now. That once I incorporated that into my emotions, my emotional regulation practices, like, what is the need? And normally the need is like, you give it to yourself. You don't need it from anything external. It's all with you. So you don't need anything else, which is so beautiful, because depending on external things is not usually work out in the way you'd like. So normally for me, the need initially was like, I love you. And it's progressing over time. The last 2 months I've gone through, I believe you. I understand you. I see you. I hear you. So if I'm in a situation where I'm not being heard, I just, bring it back to myself and say, I hear you, And then it makes it kind of like flush away. So I guess the main point that I want to get to here is that, like, my realizations for why I was waking up borderline suicidal and waking up with all of this dread was because I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't respecting myself and my emotions. My emotions are real, and when they come up, they need to be processed. They need to be felt, not shoved away. So feeling them, allowing them to be there and not shoving them away, created a space where, like, I felt like I could be here still. I feel like when we shove them all down, like, we're humans because of our emotions, right? So, like, people say The Walking Dead and all of these sayings, and that's really how I felt, and that's really what it is too. Like, if you're not feeling these emotions and you're pretending like they don't exist, or you're like less than because you have them, you're not truly being your human. You're not being who you're supposed to be, because you're supposed to have these emotions, and they're like guides to help show you, how you're actually supposed to be. So listening to them and allowing them kind of took the edge off of the dread in the morning. And then whenever I figured out to meet the need of that emotion, and that I could do that for myself, I'm like this morning I woke up, my heart was so full of gratitude and love and excitement for the day, even though it was a rest day. And I rested in such a beautiful way. And it's been like this now for like a few weeks. I wanted to wait to make sure that, it was like actually happening before I spoke on it. But I really I don't think many people know how important these emotions are, and figuring out how to meet your own needs and be a sovereign beacon of light for yourself and everyone around you. It's really such a beautiful journey. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Sending you all the love. Bye.